Hey there, if you've got a dog and you live here in Kingston, New Hampshire, then you're in exactly the right place. We're going to break down how to pick the perfect trainer for you and your pup, someone who really gets what it's like to live here. The goal is to help you feel totally confident in your decision.
Having a dog in Kingston is just fantastic, isn't it? We've got these quiet country lanes, those nice walks along the Powell River. It's pretty special. But because it's such a close-knit community, having good doggy manners is a really big deal. I mean, think about it. Whether you're hanging out on the town common or just walking down the street, a well-behaved dog makes things easier and more pleasant for absolutely everyone. And that all starts with good training.
Okay, so where do you even begin? Well, finding the right pro really boils down to two key things. First, you've got to understand their training methods. And second, you'll want to check out their qualifications. If you get these two pieces right, you're setting yourself up for a fantastic experience with your dog. This right here is what you want to look for. Positive reinforcement is pretty much the gold standard in dog training today. Basically, it's a science-backed idea where you reward your dog with a treat, a toy, some praise, whatever they love, the second they do what you ask. This makes them want to do it again. It's all about building a really strong, trusting relationship, not using feeder or anything like that. It just works so much better.
So here's the thing. In New Hampshire, trainers don't actually have to be licensed. That's why seeing certifications like these is such a good sign. It means the trainers really put in the work. They've studied, they've passed some tough exams. It's good to know the difference too. Something like a CPD-TKA is usually about general training and obedience. But if you see IABC-CDBC, that's a certified dog behavior consultant, and they're the ones who handle more serious stuff like anxiety or aggression. Any of these show a real professional commitment.
All right, so once you've found a trainer whose approach you like, it's time to get practical. We're talking about picking a program. You've got to find a format that works for your dog's personality, what you're trying to achieve, and, your wallet. So these are the two main ways you'll see training offered. Group classes, they're awesome for getting your dog used to being around other dogs and learning to focus with distractions. But let's say you have a really specific problem at home. Maybe your dog dashes out the door or barks at everyone walking down your road. That's where private lessons are perfect, because the trainer comes to you and works on the issue right where it's happening. Okay, let's talk about money. What's this actually going to cost? This table gives you a pretty good idea of the average prices right here in the Kingston and Rockingham County area. As you can see, there's a range. You've got your more affordable group classes, all the way up to those intensive board and train programs. Those are usually for when you need a really focused, fast turnaround on some tough behaviors. All right, let's zoom back in and talk specifically about Kingston, because knowing the local rules and the best spots to practice, that's what makes your training stick and actually apply to your day-to-day life here. Being a good dog-owning neighbor in town really just means knowing a few simple rules. First up, your dog has to be under your control. Now, here's a local quirk. Kingston doesn't technically have a leash law, but your dog can't just be running at large. So a leash is always your safest and best choice. Next, a current rabies vaccine isn't just a good idea, it's state law. And last, and this is a big one for keeping everyone happy, you have to prevent nuisance barking. It's actually a local ordinance violation if it gets out of hand. So you've been working with your trainer, and you've got some new skills down. Now where do you go to practice? Well, the Kingston Town Common is perfect for working on that polite leash walking. If you need a bit more open space, Checkers Field is a solid choice. And hey, if you feel like a quick drive, the trails over at Arlington Mill Reservoir in Salem or at Potawatomi State Park are fantastic for really testing those skills with all sorts of new sights and smells. Okay, you've done the homework, you've narrowed it down to a few trainers. Now what? This is where you get on the phone or meet them. And we've got the exact questions you should ask to make sure you're picking the absolute right person for you and your dog. This is probably the number one question to ask. What you're listening for are those magic words: positive reinforcement, reward-based, force-free. That's how you'll know their methods are up to date and, most importantly, kind to your dog. This one's pretty straightforward. You're just asking about their professional background. Having those credentials shows they've taken the time to get their skills checked and approved by a real organization. Now, this question brings it all back to you. A good trainer isn't going to give you a cookie-cutter plan. They should ask about your life here in Kingston. Can they help you with walking politely on our quiet roads, or how to act around the neighbor's chickens? The training has to fix the problems you're actually facing. This is a great one to ask because training isn't a one-and-done thing. So what happens when the official sessions are over? Do they offer email support? Can you book a follow-up if you need it? Just knowing what the long-term support looks like can give you a lot of peace of mind. And last but not least, the practical stuff. A real pro will have no problem being totally upfront about their prices, what's included, and what their cancellation policy is. Asking this right away just makes sure there are no weird surprises down the road. Look, at the end of the day, spending a little time asking these questions and doing your research, it's not just about hiring someone, it's really an investment in having a happier, calmer life with your dog. Making a good choice now just sets both of you up for years of success. So, good luck with everything. Seriously, just remember that a well-mannered dog makes everything in life so much more enjoyable. Think about it. Every single walk around town, every time friends come over, it's just easier and more fun for everybody. It truly makes living in a great town like Kingston even better. For you, for your dog, and for all your neighbors.